Hi everybody, welcome to our Summer Reading Club Creative Writing Workshop. My name is Miss Charlotte, and this week I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about writing with your five senses using our favorite colors. So I wrote about yellow, as maybe you could guess from my dress. It's my very favorite color. It always has been. I love it because it makes me think of spring and summer, and it makes me just think of warmth and happiness and bumblebees and just happy spring memories. So before we get started, I'm going to read you my little poem that I wrote about yellow, and then I'll take y'all through a little exercise so that you can write your own poem about your favorite color. Yellow. Yellow is my favorite flowy dress in the summer and a big umbrella in the rain. Yellow is an afternoon picnic. Yellow is a glass of ice-cold lemonade on a hot, humid day in Georgia. You can hear yellow when canaries sing to each other or when I'm watering my vegetable garden. Yellow feels smooth like butter and soft like rose petals. Yellow is tanning in my backyard, squinting against the sun. So that was just a little short poem I wrote about yellow, and since it makes me feel warm and happy, I wanted the poem to sound really warm and happy, which is why I added all of the senses, right? Taste, touch, hear, see, and smell. So, how did we get there, though? You might think when you're reading your favorite books or poems or singing your favorite songs, how did they come up with that? But the truth is, writers always have to write more than one draft. We always have to do some pre-writing, make lists sometimes. It's never perfect the first time or even the last time. Like, I could go back and do all kinds of stuff to my poem. And that's one of the good things about writing, right? As long as you're being nice to yourself, know that your writing can always get better. You can always add more. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's all about just having fun and being creative. So how do we get started? What I like to do when writing color poems, what we did with some of our students in my class, was you make lists. So the first thing you want to do, obviously, is to pick your favorite color. And remember that these poems are about you. So maybe your favorite color might not be yellow, right? Some people don't like the color yellow, don't think it's happy. You might think about squinting against the sun is not very fun, or it makes you think of squash or mustard, which is gross, but you never know. And that's all to say, don't think you are locked into some kind of idea about what a color means. Your favorite color, might have some kind of symbolism in literature or movies or TV, right? But it might mean something special to you. Like, we actually have this picture book at the library. I can't get on here without talking about picture books, called This Book is Gray. And gray has a kind of bad reputation, right, of being dreary and rainy and cold. But the book was about elephants and rhinos and a good overcast day. And my favorite cats are both gray, little gray boys. So you never know. Don't feel like embarrassed by what your favorite color is or that your color has to mean something. It's all about what it means to you. So first things first, you want to pick your favorite color and make a list of all the things you can think of that are that color. So we're going with C first, right? Okay, so I wrote my list ahead of time, but if you're writing along or writing after, just make sure you have a piece of paper and something to write with lots of room to scribble and make mistakes or cross things out, or just write a bunch of things down and get your creative juices going. So I'll read you my list first about yellow things. I've got the sun, dress, garden, butter, sticky notes, lemons, starburst, lemonade, bananas, rose, lily, honeysuckle, goldfinch, canary, scrambled eggs, raincoat, Winnie the Pooh, a summer dress, umbrella, goldfish, squash, pineapple, sunflowers, summer, corn, and rubber ducks. So as you could maybe hear in that list, not all the things I named actually made it into the poem, and that's okay. Once you actually get to writing, you can just pick out your favorite things. And you probably heard in my list that I said a couple things twice, but we're just pre-writing, so that's okay. Don't worry about, overthinking. We're just jotting down ideas. So something else you might have noticed in that list is that things that you can see are yellow, you can also taste or smell. So after you make your list of things that are your favorite color, and there might be more or less options depending on what color you choose, right? There's not a lot of blue foods, so you never know. But odds are you wrote some things down on your C list that you could also maybe hear or taste or smell or even feel. So going through my list, we have a few of those, right? Like we've got butter is something you can taste and smell. Same with lemons, starburst, and lemonade. And then we've got touch, roses and lilies. There's also things you can smell. Things with texture, we've got corn. You ever feel like corn on the cob, how it's got that kind of bumpy texture? So that's something you could use. You could always, write more than one poem about your favorite color too. That's the great thing about this, is that there's so many options out there. So from your first list, you might want to circle or maybe even just make 5 separate lists, right, of things that smell, taste, touch, or feel like your favorite color. So once you have a good amount of little descriptions for each sense, you might want to make a list or do some free writing on how your favorite color makes you feel. Or just, you can even answer the question, why is your favorite color your favorite color? It might be because, it means something special to you. It might be because it's what somebody wears in your favorite movie. It could be just the color of your favorite food, or, that's what I would love to hear. And I think that's what makes those poems really unique, is not just, the things we all know are yellow or blue or, whatever, but what things are your favorite color to you. So I ended up writing my poem. I wrote about how yellow makes me feel warm and happy, and it makes me think of the sun. So I wanted my poem to really reflect that. I wanted it to feel really warm and sunny, and I wanted some like sweet foods to be in there. I just wanted it to have an overall happy vibe. And so I have things in there that aren't yellow to everybody, right? Like a big umbrella in the rain. Of course, umbrellas can be any color. I just kind of picture myself being that obnoxious yellow blob on like a gray day. So I put that there, even though it's probably not yellow for everybody. And an afternoon picnic, that's not really a strictly yellow thing, right? There's lots of colors on a picnic, but it gives off that warm, happy feeling that I associate with yellow. As you make these lists or even write about it, you might find yourself thinking of more and more things that either smell like your favorite color or taste like it, or things that you just associate with the color depending on what it means to you. So, and I also said tanning in my backyard, which, you know, yeah, like another thing that isn't really a color, but it feels yellow to me. So when you're done writing about how your favorite color makes you feel or why it's your favorite color, that's when you can really go back to your list and pick out the things that really go with the mood you're trying to write about, right? So like I said, really sunny, happy vibes. So I picked out ice cold lemonade and the sun, canaries, because canaries have that really happy, beautiful sound, vegetable garden for nourishment and happiness, and what else? I said soft rose petals, because I feel like yellow in that kind of happy state has a very soft feel, so I wanted to make sure all those good senses were in there. And another good tip, because sometimes you can write and you just are like, how on earth do I end this thing? But a really easy and effective way to end a poem or story is to end with some kind of image or some kind of sense, something that your reader can really connect to. So I ended with the line squinting in the sun, because everyone kind of can imagine what that feels like or has some experience of what that feels like, and it puts you in that kind of summery, sunny place. So that's really all there is to it as far as pre-writing and doing a little warm-up. And you know, this is not a kind of poem, like I said last week, that you need to put any rules on. You don't have to have a certain number of lines. It doesn't even have to be a poem. It could be a story about your favorite color, or just like a little mini essay, because really this is all about you, right? So it's a pretty quick lesson today, but I think another good writing tip is one of the best ways to become a better writer and to really charge your creativity is to read. Reading is the best thing you can do for your brain, for your creativity, and for writing. So I wanted to read you all some wonderful color poems that some past students did, and they're all very different from mine. So hearing those poems, you might get some different ideas of your own if you're having trouble making your own lists of senses for your color or what your color means to you. So I'll read some poems to y'all now. The first one I will share is called Blue. Blue, the color of my baby brother's shoe. Before he was put on earth, we already knew. I love my brother. He is always loyal to me, and sometimes you. Never lies, but always tells the truth. So that poem was completely different from mine, right? And really short, but there's also a lot of heart and emotion into it. And so for this writer, the color blue is really associated with one object, right? The baby brother's shoe. But that in the poem turned out to just be about her brother, her baby brother, because I guess the color blue reminded this writer of her brother when he was a baby. So, and that's only 3 little stanzas there. Very short poem. You get a lot out of it. So if you're, stressing over your list, there's no worries. You could write just as strong a poem using... How many senses are in here? This one's only sight, right? But she puts so much heart into it about her brother that it ends up being a really powerful poem that we end up knowing the writer much better for it. So lots of different ways to do this. The next one is called Red. Red looks like a small child holding a big balloon. Red is Christmas bells ringing. Red is wind chimes on a warm summer day. Red feels like fire on a cold winter night. Red smells like tasty chocolate chip cookies in the oven. Red tastes like fresh strawberries. Red makes me feel like a confident woman, not afraid of anyone. So I love that one because it does have all those senses in there, right? And we get lots of great tastes and smells like those chocolate chip cookies and strawberries and that warm fire on a cold night. So to me, it almost sounds like red feels similar to this writer as what yellow feels like to me. Very warm and summery, or warm in the middle of winter, right? Just some kind of warmth. And I love how this writer ended, that red makes her feel like a confident woman, not afraid of anyone. And so that's, you know, a reminder that you don't have to think too hard, right? It could just be one simple line. Red makes me feel like a confident woman, not afraid. And something else you might want to think about too is adding on to those vocabulary words or sounds, like with extra details, like this writer said, red looks like a small child holding a big balloon. So that automatically gives you kind of a better picture than if you just said a child with a balloon. Now you kind of picture this small child with a big balloon. It's really cute. Or like fire on a cold winter night instead of just saying fire, right? That kind of gives you a different cozy up feeling that you wouldn't get just by saying fire. Or like tasty chocolate chip cookies in the oven. Saying in the oven, I think, makes all the difference. So you will have you have your list, and once you start writing on it, you can kind of add some decorations or details, if you will. So next one, let's see what our next color is. Oh, this one's awesome. It's called Black and White. So inspiration if you want to do two colors or some kind of pattern, get creative with it. Black and white. We look like the TVs in the 1900s. We sound like the turning of the newspaper pages. You can hear us when Dalmatians bark. We smell like freshly printed books. We are black and white. Isn't that amazing? I love the Dalmatians barking. So what's our next one? Gray. So this one does have that kind of traditional dreary gray feeling, but it's really good. It's awesome. Gray. Gray is feeling alone when no one is around or watching. Gray is a storm with rain trickling down. It is a shadow that appears when people aren't around. It is being weak and not being strong. When you've hit a wall and can't get back up, try to think of another color to build yourself up. Isn't that a beautiful, just lovely last line, or two lines? When you've hit a wall and can't get back up, try to think of another color to build yourself up. So this writer took it a little bit differently. You know, maybe it depends on how you're feeling when you're writing too. You know, we had these classes at 8 in the morning. 7th graders were not ready. No one was ready to be in school yet, right? So, you know, maybe this writer was like, I don't have a favorite color right now. I don't even feel like it. I'm just not in the mood. And that's okay. You can still get some really good creativity and material out of that. So even if you end up not writing about your favorite color, just a color that you end up thinking of a lot of senses or emotions with. This writer ended up saying, you know, try to think of some other color if you feel like you're stuck in the gray. So that being said, if you would rather write a sad poem maybe about a color you don't like, that could also be a really fun and creative exercise. Okay, got one more. Yellow. I swear I did not do this on purpose. Yellow. Yellow is a beautiful flower that suffers in winter and blooms in summer. Yellow is the sound of birds chirping. Yellow is the smell of fresh air and the feeling of soft and smooth things. Yellow is the taste of flower suckers on the lower parts of the trees. Yellow is the bright sun shining in your face as you try to block the heat. So I really love this poem. She has a very similar last line to my poem, right? Yellow is the bright sun shining in your face as you try to block the heat. So different ways to say something kind of similar, and it has a really cool effect. And I love yellow is the taste of flower suckers on the lower parts of the trees, because that's very specific. So, like I said, you know, there's a lot of things that are universally yellow, right? We all know, like, that lemons are yellow, for example, but there might be something that is uniquely yellow or uniquely your favorite color to you. So, that's our last one to share for today. So, our tips for today, remember to take your time and write lists, do some pre-writing, write about your favorite color, because that pre-writing is thinking time, and sometimes you need to think on paper and really discover what you're trying to create, right? And don't feel like you have to get it perfect the first time. You can always go back and change or think of more. That's the great thing about colors, is because there's so much out there. And next tip is try to get those 5 senses in, and to be as specific and uniquely you as possible. So thank you all so much for joining, those who are watching and hopefully writing and reading. Even if you're just here to listen to some poetry and get some ideas, I'm so happy to have you. And if you'd like to share anything you've written or some ideas or anything at all, you can post in our Facebook group that I'll share through the library's page. And so, yeah, I'd love to hear from y'all. I'd love to hear about your favorite colors and how they make you feel, what they sound or taste or smell like to you. So I can't wait. I hope you guys share, or even if you don't, I just hope you have fun writing your own at home. So take care, everybody. I hope you all go out and notice all your favorite colors and write something exciting. I'll see you next week. Bye.